to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
My car was so packed that there's some things I couldn't bring. Like we have a fridge that's provided for us. I didn't bring a new fridge, so I'm gonna grab that in a couple weeks when I go back. I didn't have enough room for my laundry basket, so it's been piling up in like one of these like bins that like I carry things in. Like, yeah.
Ouch. Well,
It's tough.
Man. Okay.
It's tough out here, man.
It is tough. It's tough everywhere. One thing that's not tough, if we're gonna get right into things, is we have, as of recording this, a month until opening night.
Oh, I cannot wait.
I'm so excited.
It's amazing because like time's been kind of flying by because you know me, I've got Bachelor in Paradise that I watch on Tuesdays. I got Survivor that's coming up, you know, next week on Wednesdays that will help me get by.
When did you apply to get on the show?
I've applied many times. They're gonna accept me one day.
Oh, one
just
day.
Not today. But no, like for now we have college football and the NFL.
Yep.
And I have reality TV to just tie me over until hockey season.
Can't be me.
All three of my teams being 0-1 over here.
And mine won a field goal in overtime.
At least, look, here's the thing. And
that's
here's
why
what I'll
you
say.
draft a kicker.
Here's what I'll say. The Bears I expected because they suck, and it's the Rams. The Browns I expected because it's the Chiefs.
It's Andy and Joey next weekend.
The Bills, though? Did you watch that game or see anything in it?
No, but I saw Tree tweeting about it, and he was like, what the hell just happened?
Maybe some of the worst play calling I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't believe it. I thought that they were going to kill the Steelers. And they just... I mean, they had like chance after chance after chance after chance to win the game. And
At
they
least
just didn't
Ben's
do it.
not as big as he used to be. Anyway, yeah. 1 month till puck drop as of recording this. I'm getting pumped, at least for the Jackets, because it's like less than a month for everybody else. Or at least
there's a lot of things to be excited about. Obviously, the Jackets were excited about to see how they look because even though like it's a rebuilding year, you at least go into it without those high expectations because it can be a little stressful when you do have those expectations. You know, like if we're losing, we're at least going to be like, well, I mean, what'd you expect? And we have other things to look forward to.
For those of you that watch the video instead of just listen to the audio, I'm not wearing my glasses because I believe someone at work took them. So that's why I don't have my glasses today.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I mean, I can still see you just fine and everything else, so it's not like
so
it's an issue.
You're nearsighted, right?
Yes.
So am I. So like I could do the same thing. Like I'd be just fine. Here, I'll join you. I'll be nice.
Doesn't matter to me, dude.
I know, but I'm such a good friend. Look at what a great friend I am.
I know, what a friend.
Doing this for
what
you.
A pal.
But as I was saying, like we have other things to look forward to as well, like the Kraken.
Oh yeah,
lots to be excited about with them too.
We got
like
some Kraken stuff later on the show, which will be
right.
It's not major, but it'll be pretty nice because at least everybody's getting rosters together.
Yeah, and they're adding more depth to the team, so they're definitely not going to be a flashy team. They're definitely going to be a grinded out kind of style of team.
Be fun to watch.
They're still going to be fun to watch. Yeah,
especially like because you have the flashiness in Vegas, and then you have the hard-nosed Seattle, right?
They're going to be a very, very defensive team.
Let's go into this. So, was it last episode or the episode before that we talked about the confirmation on the Olympics? Was it last one? I think it was last one. When it was like
it's the last one.
When it was like confirmed that we were going to go. It's not as confirmed anymore. So basically, they as in the NHL and the IOC, like all the organizations involved.
Right.
Basically, the NHL has until January 10th to back out of Beijing
Okay.
in case of like, if there are outbreaks throughout earlier in the actual NHL season and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think it's as close to official as you can get. It's basically kind of like a break glass in case of
Mhm.
emergency button. You know what I mean?
Right. Which I still, we all still hope they go.
Yeah, 100%. I think for the league, especially with all the money they lost,
Yeah.
it's probably in their best interest to make sure that these players do go. That
Yeah.
kind of exposure with the Olympics is always good for hockey.
It's huge. And I mean,
Because
I know Bettman's main job is to like grow the game in North America, but you
Mhm.
also need to make sure you're getting players from everywhere that you can get players.
100%. And I think the other thing is like, as far as we talk about like with North America, I mean, I don't know, we don't have a finite number we can look at, but how many, there had to have been at least a decent spike in terms of NHL ratings and how many people became more interested in hockey after Sochi when TJ Oshie had
Yeah.
like the shootout, like that was really
TJ
cool.
Sochi.
You know, exactly. He became an American hero like overnight, and like
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is, but I'd have to imagine there's a decent spike in terms of hockey fans after you have a moment like that. So we don't know what the next incredible hockey Olympic moment is, but there's always at least one every time they go,
Dude,
and that one
imagine
moment
this.
can lift up your numbers.
This is just something I put in parentheses on this note for the Olympics. Imagine this. Brady and Matthew on a line together. Imagine both Kachuk brothers just terrorizing people on the third line or something.
Oh my god, and Keith in the stands.
Keith, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like it would be so hard for them to pull off, but like I would love to see like Calgary and Ottawa just come up with some absurd trade where one of those teams ends up with both of them.
Yeah. More likely than not, I would like to see Brady go to Calgary because they look like the more successful of the two right now. But
Could you imagine if they made a deal and they had like a second line of like Matthew, Blake Coleman, and Brady?
Oh,
That line would be such a pain in the ass to
it
play
would be
against.
amazing though. It'd be so good because like you have all the skill in the world with all three of them because they all have skill. I mean, both Kachuk brothers were 4th overall picks.
I think Matthew is 6th.
No,
if I'm correct.
I'm pretty sure
Because
I heard
that was
Brian
the draft
Burke
that
talk about getting
Puljujärvi went 4th that draft.
was he 4th? Okay, never mind then. At least like Burke was happy that they fell out and got Matthew.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, just like think about it, because you have Matthew, Brady, and Coleman who can all score unbelievable goals and can also just fuck your life up.
Yeah.
And just make you miserable.
God, I'd love to see it. Because there's nothing better in the league, in my opinion, than that nice, healthy balance in a player between being a pain in the ass to play against, but also having that incredible skill. I love Matthew Tkachuk.
Right.
There's
so
there's a lot of people who hate him, and I totally understand it.
I mean, I have a complete
like, I love
love-hate
him.
relationship with him, like just to him as a player. And the same for Brady. Like, I hate these guys, but it's just like if you're watching them play, not against Columbus or a team that you cheer for, they're just fun.
They are, and it also like depends, like as far as the love-hate relationship goes, like what team they play for. Because
sure.
I'm absolutely convinced not as many people would hate Brad Marchand if he played for the Flames.
Right. Yeah, that too.
The fact that he plays for Boston, like
that doesn't help.
It's an added impact, 100%.
Yeah, it doesn't help. But yeah, they have this window for January 10th, and let's just hope that everybody, you know, at least for the most part, that's going to go, if they're going to go, you know, they follow the protocols in order to go and they can still go. Like if you're a player that doesn't follow the protocols, then you're more than likely to not be selected, I would think.
Right. And I think that's fair.
Because I mean, that's just how these seasons for all the major sports are going to be handled, you know, until we finally get somewhere where they don't need to do this.
Right.
So fingers crossed that they still go. I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, have you seen any of like the hockey guys Olympic projection videos where he just lists all the eligible players?
I've not.
Dude, you could build super teams out of the Canadian and American guys.
Oh God, I'm sure.
You could form like 4 different teams out of just those 2 countries.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
at least probably even more.
Same for Russia. Like they have plenty to pick from. Like, ugh,
Sweden and Finland are also a lot of fun to
don't sleep on those 2. Like that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so,
and it's just
nuts.
We're seeing a rise in other countries too. That's also super nice to see for international hockey. Like Switzerland's getting better, Germany's getting better,
Denmark
for sure.
The Czechs have been in there.
Yeah, no, they've been pretty like good like for quite some time. Like they've got some good talents in there.
Yeah, it's fun. So again, let's just hope we go. So we're getting more news on Kaprizov. Like the KHL season started and he's still like technically not signed by either one, I guess.
Okay.
So he's at this point it looks more promising that he's going to stay in Minnesota.
Yeah, because they probably haven't reached an agreement yet, but they've at least come to some sort of verbal understanding that he is going to get a comical amount of money.
Yeah, according to, I believe I got this from Russo, the reported deal is $9 million average for 5 years, and it's near done. So he's apparently planning to report to camp.
Oh, well, that's even better. I mean, if he's planning on reporting to camp, then I mean that shows that relationship is just fine. And
right.
We don't have like a number yet, but that there's going to be one.
Again, we're assuming 9.
Yeah.
Like 9 over 5.
Right. I think that'd be a pretty interesting contract.
That's definitely fair for like a lightning rod like he is.
I mean, look at what he did in his first
season, exactly.
Where there was no training camp because there was COVID.
No training camp, no like exhibition, preseason action, like nothing. It was just cold turkey right into it. And
cold turkey, different style of hockey, new country that he's in.
Yeah, I got to get used to a new kind of rink.
And this dude did, I mean, like God, it's just the beginning of what he's going to do.
This is like
he's disgusting.
For Minnesota, this is the second coming of Marian Gaborik.
He could be better.
He could be, yeah, for sure.
That's the scary thing. He'd be better than Marian freaking Gaborik. And I hope, and we're talking about Gaborik, Minnesota Wild. Yes, like I hope people don't forget how good he was in Minnesota. He was unbelievable in Minnesota.
I think most of us that at least like watch Steve Dangle's stuff, there's a most recent Dang It's video where Jake Ottinger came out and like flipped Darren Helm over.
Oh, and it reminds everybody
of Hasek and Gaborik.
I mean, God, that guy, like he was really good with the Rangers, and I loved him his short stint in Columbus.
I loved him here, yeah.
He obviously won the cup in LA, But man,
was
I mean,
fantastic
those
with King.
days in Minnesota, man, he was.
Didn't he play
unbelievable.
with Kopi on that first line? It was Gabrick and Kopitar and like Dustin Brown
I believe so.
on that 2012 run. It was it's
Because
disgusting.
in 2014, like their second line was Carter, Toffoli,
And Pearson,
and
that 70s
Pearson.
line.
Yeah, the 70s line. Yeah,
That's one of my favorite
that was a
hockey
fun
name-
line. Yeah,
That's one of my favorite line nicknames ever.
yeah, and that was a good freaking line for them.
Yeah, it was amazing. And now they're all doing really, really well, still wearing 70s in their own respective clubs.
Mm-hmm. Toffoli's killing it in Montreal. Carter's still got it
Defying
with the Penguins.
age.
Yeah,
And
Pearson's okay.
Pearson's a pretty good, I mean, he's a good anchor for that second line with Horvat,
Yeah,
you know? So it's, yeah, Kaprizov looks like they're getting done, which they need to get this done.
100%.
Dev camps are underway. Like today was day 2 for Columbus's dev camp. And it's nice to see because that just means we're getting closer and closer. First preseason game's what, like the 22nd?
I believe so.
Yeah, we're recording this on the 14th. Again, just a month away from opening night. And yeah, I'm excited because they announced the Traverse City roster, and we all love looking at Traverse City.
Yeah, because you get a lot of young guys in there and guys who are trying to make their name with the organization, and it's an
I
opportunity.
kind of just wanted
see,
to go through it with you.
Yeah.
So we got forwards, Tyler Angle, which you love.
Yeah, very excited about him.
Ben Boyd, Chinnikov. Oh my god, I want to see him so bad.
Me too.
I saw a video of him pull off a spinorama in the dev camp today, and whoo boy,
he's a really good skater.
Kid's fast.
Yeah.
Chinnikov, Josh Dunn, Cole Fonstad, Jake Gaudet, Caleb Lawrence, James Malatesta. I think we might have mentioned Malatesta offhand in a couple.
Yeah, he was a 5th rounder. I really like Jake Gaudet a lot.
Yeah,
he's probably a guy I haven't heard of a ton, but he went to UMass and he was really good on their run to winning the national championship last year. So excited to see what he can do.
Our boy Carson's going because of course he is. Tristan Mullen, Navrin Mutter, Peter Reynolds, Martin Rasavi, again, glasses, and Sillinger. Sillinger, baby. Let's go. Yeah. The D, we got Tim Burney, we got Borgivek Holm, which again, OBH with the deal signed recent. Jake Christensen, I've heard his name before.
I think he was undrafted out of, it was somewhere in I think either Ontario Hockey League or Quebec Major, but I like him.
One of the major juniors.
Yeah. He's got potential, I think, to be like maybe like a depth defenseman, like a Scott Harrington or something like that.
At least like top 6, like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
Cole Clayton, Gerard Keane, Svozil, which we can't say enough about Svozil.
I like him
awesome.
A lot. I'm telling you, man, like that's gonna be one of the steals of the draft.
I think I saw CBJ Prospects post a Svozil thing today when I was just chilling out, and dude, he looks fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited for him.
And rounding out the D, we got Mark Woolley. And then goalies, Emmerich Despoti. I saw a video from Jackets Insider about Despoti. Looks good. And we got our own Jet Greaves.
Right. Definitely excited about him just because of the name.
I know, it's like I tweeted something about picturing all Jet team centered around Jet Woo and Jet Greaves.
Right. Jet Wu's an interesting prospect for sure too. He's still with the Canucks, right?
Yes, he is. His
Yeah, that's a great
freaking
name.
his name Jet Woo. Like just imagine like he scores and everybody literally just goes woo.
Well, I
Like
like
that's
the
his
idea
chant.
of Jet with a rocket.
Yeah. Like everybody holding up rocket signs.
My favorite one of my favorite like calls.
Mhm.
Uh Jack Edwards, anytime Johnny Boychuk would score, he would always call it a Johnny Rocket.
A Johnny Rocket.
Like
That's awesome.
that's such a dope way of
It's
saying it. Like
so dumb, but it's like, oh, I just think it's dumb just because it's Jack Edwards, but that's just me.
I
Is
don't
that
know.
me?
I don't know. I actually kind of like him.
It's his bias kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
but I kind of
It's
like
when he
that.
gets
Like,
it's when he like crosses the line with that kind of stuff. Some of it's funny, like when he said take your Harvard degree and take it to the hospital.
yeah, I don't know though. Like, because it depends. Like, where is the line if it's your own broadcast? If you're broadcasting for the
No,
Bruins,
for regional
you know
broadcasts,
what I
I
mean?
absolutely want a homer in the booth.
Exactly. That's why I like it. Like, if you have someone who does like, that's what I like about John Forsland. Like, he was always doing it for the Canes. Now he's going to be doing it for the Kraken. But anytime he was national broadcast, he was always, unbiased, which
Right.
was great.
But
It's one of the
then when
reasons
he
that I
did
really like and
his
respect
yeah.
him. Yeah. But whenever he was doing Canes games, hey, what do you say?
Yeah. um oh shoot. Um next one. So this was a surprise to me when I found out about it at first. But like now that we've had a couple days to stew on this, Lefebvre's no longer on the staff.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Very interesting.
So Steve McCarthy from the Monsters staff is his replacement, and it's due to basically Lefebvre being anti-vax, or at least like his stance. He just isn't going to get it, which is different from the Rocky Thompson situation from the last show.
Right.
Because Rocky can't get it
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
of like actual medical issues
Medical
with it.
problems, which is perfectly understandable for
Like
his
that's
call.
legitimate.
Yeah, 100%. But I don't know, this situation, like, just seemed like you don't want to get it. Like, I mean, that's fine, but
Like we're not
they
gonna
they obviously believe in it, so they feel you need to have it, and if you want to coach on the staff, so
yeah,
that's their
and we're not
decision.
gonna like blow this up into anything major, but or at least like we're not gonna try to. Because for someone like me, you know, if you've got my own thoughts about it, I just want to wait until like I know the Pfizer vaccine is like safe and FDA approved and everything, but I want to make sure that we're at a point where we know for a fact that these vaccines aren't going to do much in terms of like side effects and making sure people
Like
still
long
don't
term effects.
yeah
I gotcha.
like
That's
long-term
perfectly fair.
effects. And then I know like yes, even if you're fully vaxxed you can still get it, but I still want to make sure that it's something cohesive that you
Sure.
know what I mean.
Yeah. See, and that's okay because you don't coach for the Blue Jackets. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you can make that decision for yourself, and you know anybody can make that decision for themselves. But sometimes there's consequences with it depending on the situation that you're in. And unfortunately for him, it cost him his job because
Yeah,
he is dealing with players on a daily basis, and the team obviously didn't feel comfortable with him
and
not
let's
having it.
let's be clear about this. It's not that he quit, it's that he was fired.
Mm-hmm. It would have. I think it would have been a lot better had he just like, if he was kind of in the same boat, maybe as you, and a little bit with like Rocky by saying like, I'm going to step away for a year,
Yeah,
and like, I want to see a little bit more before I decide to get it. If he had done something like that, it'd be a lot different reaction for people, I think, in the media.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way.
It's a shame. I mean, he was okay, if maybe not below average as like a minor league coach, but that's different.
Right. I mean, the other unfortunate thing for him is he doesn't necessarily have the reputation to maybe get away with that. You know
And
what I
he's a
mean?
name, like people recognize him as a former player. And
Yeah, as a former player, yes, but like as a coach, like it'd be a very different situation if a long tenured head coach decided, because then it's a tough situation. Like,
yeah, if it's somebody like Tortorella or
mhm,
Talkett, who we'll talk about Talkett in a minute, like later on in the show,
right.
because we got some fun stuff to talk
Or
about him.
if Gerard Gallant decides,
Yeah,
like,
if
we're like
Gallant,
we're just throwing out names, like if that were it becomes a very interesting.
respected long-term coaches, yeah,
Yes,
like people like in that kind of caliber.
100%. It becomes interesting because I'm not sure what any of these teams would do, but fortunately for the league, I don't think we've really seen that, and I
It's a
don't think we
different,
will.
it's a different thing. We have some, I don't know if this is minor or major in terms of the level of update, but we thought that the Blackhawks stories with the Aldrich stuff was gonna like go on the back burner, but no, we've got a little bit of development on this. So this is from TSN Hockey, from Westhead, because again, Rick's been all over this. An American think tank that studies child sexual abuse and prevention is asking the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees to suspend Stan Bowman from his position as Olympic men's hockey team GM for the U.S.
That's interesting. I like that they're doing it. I think Stan Bowman has not been held accountable yet for
No,
his role in all this.
absolutely
Um,
not.
and I think this is a good first step to that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what the response is going to be, because I mean, if you get that kind of pressure, usually people will finally kind of go through with it.
Yeah,
Um,
because I
but
mean,
after that, like let's say they actually do, they force him to step down as chief. What happens from there? What do the Blackhawks do about it?
yeah, what
Does
do
he have
they
to resign from
do?
the Blackhawks? Like, do they stand pat? Like, then that kind of
Because
forces their hand, because if Team Canada is doing it, um
yeah,
then shouldn't you?
exactly. Because other than like normal PR, like word soup, we haven't heard anything from Bowman's mouth about this.
Well, we
Other
did have that one stupid image of him, like with like several women from the Blackhawks
oh, from the
organization
draft,
announcing.
yes, we did have
Yeah,
that.
that's about it.
That
Which
was
is
like that was right
maybe the
after
most
the
disgusting. Oh God,
that was right after
that
the
first row.
Mayu pick too, so it just adds more to messiness. It's just, ugh. Like
This God, this
those
league, man. I
those
swear to
last
God,
two those last two first round picks were like the most definition of sludge fest. Were
just
they
tone
not?
deaf,
Like, ugh.
just so tone deaf.
Yeah, read the rooms, Danny. Ugh.
And the Blackhawks organization that allowed him to do it, like they all need to read the room.
Yeah, exactly. It was rough. It was really, really bad. So hopefully we hear from Bowman soon on this. And the Hockey Canada committee on this, which Hockey Canada really over the last few years hasn't looked great
They definitely have not.
in terms of like between specific personnel with Bill Peters, Mike Babcock, Bob Mickelson. Like, when's he gonna get thrown under the bus for something?
Tell you, man. Let me tell you, the PR for them is just. Let me tell you,
Ugh.
the NHL, like we've seen it with the NFL, we've seen it with the NBA, we've seen it with Major League Baseball, we've seen it
Yeah.
like all over in sports. I don't think there is a single league out there in the world that is
like
quite
squeaky
as
clean.
inept. I was going to say quite as inept when it comes to PR than the
yeah.
National Hockey. They are unbelievably bad when it comes to it.
The MLB is close, but yeah, I don't know.
They're very close. But the NHL, they just blow me away sometimes with it. It's unbelievable, some of the things that they do.
Well, especially because, like, I don't know if it's specifically that the owners are tone deaf because they all filter things through Gary and Bill Daly and all of these people. Colin Campbell is the worst one.
Absolutely.
Colin Campbell's the worst one.
I think you make a good point, though, when it comes to the owners, because a lot of this stuff can absolutely be controlled by the owners. The owners have the ultimate control of what goes on. At the end of the day, sure, you have a head coach. Sure, you have a president of hockey operations. Sure, you have
a general manager. You have...
But at the end of the day, the one who they all have to go to pull the trigger on anything they want to do is the owner.
Yeah,
and I think some of these owners are just out of touch with reality because they're so rich. Yes, and so many other ones. It's like they're so out of touch with reality. They don't understand. It's unbelievable that these guys could be so rich and they don't understand PR.
No,
it's like pick up a book.
Some stuff like this can be funny, at least for us as fans. Like, we've talked about how much have you and I talked about the Melnyk Borowiecki video.
Oh my god, like yeah, that's hilarious. Like, that's actually hilarious. Genuinely.
Like, it's so funny.
The Uber video.
The Uber video is tough.
That's not actually on Melnyk, but the fact that one was that's also hilarious.
Yeah, that's tough though, because it's like, ugh, that adds fuel to their fire from that season. And
yeah,
I really hope that Ottawa specifically stays out of that kind of eye.
Right. And then we also mentioned like James Dolan too, like him basically firing everybody and then writing a letter to the league like, no, I'm mad.
Well,
that's hilarious. Like, he had a point, kind of.
Yeah, more or less it was a good move, but because they didn't agree with what was going on.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's just like the two, and I think we default to those two because they're like the more media-centered, eccentric names in the owner sphere. Sometimes I've heard like Ted Leonsis, but you don't hear about him as much. You don't hear about like the McConnells as much.
No, 100%.
The only reason you hear about Mario is because he's Mario Lemieux.
100%. 100%. That makes total sense. And like, you get Melnyk because the Senators are such a joke when it comes to this stuff. So he's one of the most notorious names. And
right
honestly,
now, they're kind of in the dumpster, as he actually said.
Right. And you also, like, honestly, you hear about James Dolan more so because of what he does with the Knicks than what he does with the Rangers. Right. But he's equally bad at both.
Well, like, it's like the Pagulas are another one too. Like,
they are. It's a clown show in Buffalo.
Because the Pagulas let the Bills guys do their thing, but they meddle in so much with the Sabres. And it's kind of the opposite with Dolan. Like, he lets the hockey people do the hockey thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's 100%. It's the exact opposite. Like, you couldn't have summed it up more perfectly, because Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott do just about everything for the Bills. Right. And look what's going on with them. You know, we'll put last week's against
except
the
for
Steelers aside. But like, yeah. And then, like, you know, the Rangers have been a pretty successful franchise ever since Dolan has owned them. And it's because he's just kind of let everybody do what they do. But he finally did step in and do something stupid this year when, look, I totally understand that they wanted to get more physical. I understand that, you know, maybe they're not where they want them to be, but
Tom Wilson's a problem.
Firing JD and Jeff Gordon
in the middle of a rebuild where it wasn't completely done.
It wasn't, and JD was there for 2 years, and he literally got New York Semi Panarin. Like I didn't get that. Like if I were him, I told the move of firing Quinn was totally justified.
Quinn was,
But
yeah.
I didn't understand the firing of Jeff Gordon, who I think is a pretty good general manager, and John Davidson is one of the best presidents of hockey operations in all of hockey.
Don't get me wrong, I love that he's back with us, but he should
Hundred
have been
percent,
there.
not complaining, but he definitely should have kept his job.
Yeah. Like, we love Davidson.
Oh God, yeah.
To
I
a
mean,
T.
look at all he did for us. I mean,
Is he not
he's
like the most
unbelievable.
like grandfatherly kind of personality too?
Yeah,
like
he's awesome, and he used to be such a great broadcaster. Everything he's done in his career has been good at. You know, he made it to the National Freaking Hockey League as a
Double
goalie.
zero.
You know, he was a hilarious color commentator for the Rangers for quite some time.
Dude.
Then he becomes, you know, he goes in the front office and he has a ton of success with St. Louis, and then comes here and then with the Rangers.
I mean,
like,
we didn't
what a
grow
career.
up with JD as a broadcaster, but my favorite JD memory will be Patrick on the Spinorama
Yes.
around
Oh my God.
Wayne.
He was cracking up.
He was
Oh my
losing
God, it's
his
one of the
mind.
funniest things ever.
And he's like, "Look at Dvorsky! Oh, this is classic."
He just randomly deked out Wayne Gretzky.
Spun around, and then when he crossed the red light and he's finally explaining it, and it's just like,
And he's literally, and Patrick was like, "The hell what did I do wrong?"
yeah, exactly. And you can see Dvorsky, the ref, just like incredulous face, like, "What the hell, Patty? What?" I love it. JD is a king. Like,
Yes,
he's just
100%.
a king. Speaking of king or not, the Winter Classic jerseys came out. Designs came out for both Minnesota and St. Louis. I love that.
Let's get to St. Louis's first.
I love that St. Louis is putting another spin on inaugural stuff, because that's really all they do, besides maybe Hull era jerseys, is they just take their inaugural design and spin it.
The baby blue, like, I love it. I think it's amazing. Like, that's the kind of spin that they did. Like, they wore those baby blues against the Blackhawks several years ago. Like, I love those jerseys then. I love
that was
the
the
kind of spin
stadium
that they're
series
doing off of that. Yeah. And then,
well, because what they're doing, what I think they did was, you know, when they did the stadium series, that was in Busch. So the full baby blues, that made sense. And because
100%.
this one's in Minnesota, doing the baby blues with the away jerseys and keeping it white, that makes sense as well.
100%. And then the Minnesota Wild were like, you know what we could do?
Christmas sweater.
What if we made a Christmas sweater in a hockey jersey and slapped our logo on it?
And they didn't even slap their logo on it. They just slapped like the state outline on it. And it's like,
it was one of the ugliest things I'd ever seen in my life.
Spurgeon modeling it didn't help either. I think.
Why not?
I don't know. I think this might.
They can't have Kaprizov do it because he's not officially still with them. So
they could have had Fiala do it. Maybe, I don't know. They could have gotten.
I mean, Spurgeon's their captain, though.
I know Spurgeon's their captain, but it's like, and this is nothing against him. He's not the best looking guy that they have.
Fair.
You want like a.
So you want Marcus? Just say you wanted Marcus Foligno to do it.
I would have loved Marcus. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have loved Marcus.
Just say it.
Get a Swede.
Yeah, they could use more Swedes on their team.
Or Kakinen, just because you don't see his face behind his mask at all. I don't think I've ever seen
Cam
Kakinen's face.
Do Cam Talbot.
Could do Cam. He's not bad looking either.
When he like, I mean, he's got good hair.
Again, Fiala could have been an option. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I like Jared Spurgeon though.
Spurgeon, I mean,
very, very, very underrated player.
Very underrated, yes, especially on the defensive side of the game.
Definitely
He did, like
not talked about enough.
under Boudreaux, he was phenomenal.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, like he's pretty solid defensively, but I like as far as like you talk about some of the best offensive defensemen in the game. Nobody ever mentions Jared Spurgeon. Look at his numbers. His offensive numbers are very good.
I think some of that might have been helped with Suter, but I don't know.
Right. I mean, it could be, but at the end of the day, he's producing. He's producing.
Oh yeah. Plus, another thing to come out of the Winter Classic is it's no longer Bridgestone. So now that NBC Sports is out and Turner's in, it's gonna be sponsored by Discover.
Good. Real quick, I just wanted to bring this up because I was just able to bring it up. 54 games last year for Jared Spurgeon. He had 7 goals. Year before that, 62 games. He had 12 goals. Year before that, full 82 games, 14 goals.
Not bad.
Not bad. 4 times in his career, he's hit double digits in goals, which as a defenseman, not easy to do.
No.
I mean, he's played in 707 games, and he has 89 goals as a defenseman. That's pretty damn good. I mean, his shooting percentage for a defenseman is 7.7% for his career.
That's not bad either.
That's not bad for a defenseman. Like, you'll take that any day.
Oh yeah. But can he score 20?
But can he score 50 in 07?
I went the Z route. Of course you went the Heatley route.
Had to. We need more Danny Heatley content on this podcast.
Well, Heatley needs to get back into doing something with the league then.
I think he'd like to, but I mean, isn't he he's got to be close to 40 now, right?
He could get into TV.
True.
Or coaching, do something.
That's the thing. He's a superstar growing up, loved watching him, and now I just have no clue what this dude is doing. No clue where he's at.
Well, Philip Rivers is coaching high school ball.
Right. He's how some people talk about Kawhi Leonard where they're like, oh my God, this guy's one of the best players in the NBA. And when he retires, we're never going to see him again.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about Danny Heatley. We've just never heard from him again. He's 40.
He's 40?
Yeah, he's 40 now.
Oh my God.
Last played in 2015, 2016 in the DEL. So he went back to Germany. Which is actually where he was born.
Oh, Canadian-German kid? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, his old buddy Spets is still kicking, so...
Which is just incredible thing. I mean, you think about it, that line, Alfredson retired in 2014?
15,
Heatley in, okay, so 2015, and then Heatley in 2015, 16, and Jason Spezza
is
the center of that line along. Is still chugging along, and not even just still playing. He's still
he's
good.
Amazing.
He's producing
for the role that he has.
Yeah,
he still looks like he played in Ottawa.
It's
it's a different role, but it's it feels the same.
It's not kind of where we're at with Joe Thornton, where he's just kind of still playing, and it's this is kind of sad to watch. No, Jason Spezza is still good.
Yeah, exactly. And Patty Marleau's in there, he's kind of the middle ground out of the three of them, I think. Because Patty can still play, and he can produce, but it's not like he's producing as much as Jason is, but he's also producing more than Joe is.
Yeah, Joe, it's getting a little sad with Joe Thornton, I'm not gonna lie, and it's almost getting to that point with Patty Marleau, and then Jason Spezza is still out here yeah, no, I'm just vibing.
Right. And I mean, I think all those 97 guys, Thornton, Marleau, Chara,
yeah,
they're about done.
And there's nothing wrong with that. They were drafted 2 years before I was born.
They were drafted the year I was born.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong. I promise you there's nothing wrong with being done in the year 2021 when you were drafted in 1997.
And Yager's still playing.
which is just hilarious.
It's kind of sad though. I mean, I know we talked about it in a previous episode, but it's a little sad that
It's
he
it,
feels
it
this
is,
way.
but it's just amazing that this dude is still going. He is 49 years old. This dude was drafted in 1990.
I want to see him break Gordy's age record. Even if he
That would be
retires at
unbelievable.
even if he retires at 53 instead of 52.
hmm
Like, I want to see him do it.
Yeah.
We got off on an age and Spezza tangent there. Where am I in my notes? Winter Classic. Yes. Blues, gorgeous. They always have gorgeous jerseys.
hmm
Always.
Wild. Terrible.
Christmas sweater. Ugly Christmas sweater.
Garbage. Throw them in the trash.
Like, if it's going to win,
Take
anything-
off the jerseys. Take off the jerseys. Just play in your shoulder pads.
if it's going to win anything, it's going to win an ugly Christmas sweater competition.
Seriously, you don't even have to buy an ugly Christmas sweater. Just buy a Kevin Fiala jersey. You're good to go.
Poor Kevin. buy one for, like, I don't know, Sturm.
I like Nico.
I do like Nico Sturm. Oh God, I gotta. Okay. Oh yes, Turner. The broadcast team got announced today, and it is stacked to the brim.
Yes.
So, one thing I do want to mention before I actually get into this list is congrats to, I mean, everybody follows this guy. So we just want to give him a shout out for what it's worth, I guess. Congrats to Nasher.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be on the, like, Bleacher Report side of things.
That's a good role for him to be in. Put him in a more social media kind of like role with it. Like,
Well,
I
yeah.
excel in it. You know, he's great with what he does.
Absolutely.
Super, super nice guy too.
I haven't met him. I would love to. Especially if he, like, gives us tips on, like, how to be better with this.
Yeah.
Like, or at least, like, promoting this. Which, by the way, again, new background in this way. It's the bottom left of the background is our Twitter for the show. Go follow that, please.
I agree. Follow it. And then
Follow-
follow me.
Yeah, follow it.
because
Follow us.
I'm elite on Twitter.
We're both elite on Twitter. Dennis Kelly said it himself.
Yeah, he did. Nobody better at gassing me up than that man.
Dennis is a legend. He's a legendary
is.
goon.
100%.
I saw that he's working on his own stuff.
Good.
Did you see that?
I have not, but I'm
Pic-
definitely
picture
gonna check it
him
out
with-
once I get the chance.
Picture him with a setup and a mic and his laptop, and it's like, oh, what are you doing, DK?
Oh, dude, I could listen to him talk all day. I'll do that. Like, I'll listen to it, listen to everything he says, enjoy it, and then I'll like play it again as ASMR for when I go to bed.
He needs to do something with Jim again.
100%.
I miss those guys. So anyway, analysts in the studio. We got Wayne Gretzky, of course.
Ever heard of him?
Nah.
Pretty good at hockey.
Eh.
Can confirm what was solid.
He was okay. Wayne Gretzky, Columbus guy, Anson Carter.
hmm
Good pick.
I like Anson a lot. He's a good analyst.
Oh yeah.
Really good analyst.
Rick Tocchet, like we mentioned
Yeah.
earlier,
Mhm.
which he'll be a good, like, it's always nice to have like a
It's
former
the
coach.
stopgap. 100%. It's kind of be like when Torts was with TSN for like
Yeah.
a little bit, and before he went to the Rangers, like he's 100% going to be the coach that they bring in for the year. He's going to be good in that role, and then he's going to get hired next year.
Again, it's like it's always good to have like a former coach or a
Yeah.
coach still looking for a job,
100%.
like on your broadcast crew.
They do it all the time. You see it all the time in sports, and a lot of times, like you realize like just how intelligent these coaches are.
Yeah.
And how much they can provide to an audience that you might not even think about.
Didn't Babs do it for a minute on TSN like this past
Yeah.
year or something?
He did. It was kind of weird, especially with all the stuff that was going on. Everybody was kind
Yeah.
of like on the hate Mike Babcock train, and he's
Yeah.
on there on the panel, and we're all just like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like,
Yeah, like get out of my screen. We know what you did, Michael.
right.
Ugh. But yeah, Rick, good pickup. And then this one I saw at least on Steve's Discord, everybody was, or at least not everybody, but a couple of people really like going back and forth about this. I don't care. Put the company stuff aside for a second. I think this will be good for Paul Bizanet.
Yeah. Look, I get it. Like, a lot of people hate Barstool for many different reasons.
Yeah.
Totally understand the reason. Totally understand the reasons. But
and that's why Pat McAfee
good
left, right?
people. Yeah, yeah. And they do have good people who work for them. And Paul Bizanet is definitely one of those people.
Biz and Wit. Like
100%.
All the Chicklets guys are good people.
Yes. So they're kind of almost like they're Barstool podcasts because they're sponsored by them, but they don't even work at the office or anything like that. They have no association really with Dave Portnoy. So like they're Barstool, but they're kind of not. They're kind of their own thing. They could leave Barstool today and they'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only thing associated with Barstool still is just that their logo is in their room somewhere.
Yes.
And on their videos. Like that's it.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think Paul's a good guy. I like what he stands for. And
love Biz.
He's entertaining. Like I was just like thinking about this earlier. It's gonna be funny. He's so hilarious.
Yeah.
And just he's always himself. Like it's the kind of personality that I think we need. And that's kind of the thing that TNT goes after. I mean, you look at TNT, like NBA,
the Inside the NBA guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, you have like the one that everybody respects, Ernie Johnson. Mm-hmm. You know, you have like the guy who really goes into depth with analysis, and Kenny the Jet Smith. Mm-hmm. And then you have Charles Barkley and Shaq.
And it's just the biggest beef
and
ever.
And it's so hilarious. It's unbelievable. And the NHL needs a little bit more of that. And the one guy who has consistently provided it and has never wavered on his personality or who he is Paul Bizanet. So I'm happy for him. He deserves it.
Really good for Biz. And then the host in the studio is Liam McHugh.
Yeah, and I like Liam. Liam definitely isn't as respected as Ernie Johnson, but he is definitely very respected. He'll do well in that role. Mm-hmm. Wayne Gretzky will kind of be like your Kenny the Jet Smith. And then Paul Bizanet is going to have to screw around a little bit.
I want to see Wayne do so much like picking at players' brains and like going into that kind of thing. What are players thinking?
There's nothing we need more in our lives than for this dude to break down Sidney Crosby.
Or Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews.
Yeah,
pick any of the superstars you want.
But like Crosby especially will be like so much fun to watch because those two just unbelievable behind the net, like making plays as playmakers. They both obviously can score goals too.
Of course.
Very good players. Very good players.
Yeah.
Like fun as hell to watch. I'm so excited.
Yeah. And then we have the game guys. Play-by-play is Kenny Albert and Brendan Burke.
God, they couldn't have done better with that. Kenny Albert's really good. Brendan Burke is unbelievable.
Yeah. And analysts, we got Edzo and Darren Pang. I had to say Edzo. I couldn't say Eddie.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like, come on.
Of course. I love it. Like, you want to talk about establishing yourself as a network with a sport that they haven't done. I don't think they've ever done NHL, have they?
Turner? I don't think so.
So if they have done before, it's been a while. So like they're picking it up.
They had I don't know if this was owned by Turner, but like originally when the ESPN deal ended, they were on the Outdoor Network and they were on Versus.
Okay. So
I don't know if any of those were like affiliated with Turner.
Right. So we don't know, but still, the fact that they're like just going right into this,
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't have knocked it more out of the park
Oh yeah.
than they did with that lineup that they just gave you.
Well, that's just play-by-play in color.
Mm-hmm.
Ice level, we got Keith Jones out of Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Jonesy's gonna be awesome.
I like Keith Jones a lot.
Yeah. I like who's his partner, his play-by-play guy? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I love him too. Like the Philly guys are fun.
Yeah.
And then contributors, we got Jennifer Botterill, Tariq El-Bashir. Interesting pickup.
Right.
And Jackie Redmond. So Turner definitely, like, obviously Wayne is the guy that everybody's going to tune in for.
Yeah.
But like all around, this is a very, very solid NHL and TNT team.
You just combined TV with DVD. Close enough.
I guess. if you can tell that like my sleep schedule is turned into non-existent, there you go, right there.
Right.
Like, ugh, dude, the last few nights I woke up a little before 8 this morning, which is fine. Nights before that was like waking up at like 3:30, like between 3:30 and 5.
It depends on how you look at it, because usually if you're waking up at 3:30 or 5, it's like brutal. Sometimes you're not getting good sleep, but there are sometimes though where like you fall asleep and it's really nice. Yeah. And you're like, oh, please don't be 8 o'clock. That's when my alarm's, and you look at it and it's like 4 and you're like, oh,
just a little bit more, please.
Yeah. That's the best feeling in the world. You just roll right back to sleep.
Yeah. But then sometimes for me, it's like I got up at 4 the other morning and I was just up. I was just like ready to go. Like I got up, I brewed coffee, everything. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't go in until 4 tomorrow, so that's nice. I can take time to edit this and make sure it can get put up.
Hell yeah.
Recording early helps.
Yeah, I figured it would help you, so. Well, look at me being such a nice and considerate person again. I'm just an unbelievable friend.
There's a pal. You know what we need to do next time we're able to go to a game and be able to meet up?
What should we do?
We need to, like old times, we need to get like a little thing together. If Jason's there, if Ellie's there, which she's obviously going to be there.
Yeah.
We need to get the 4 of us together for a picture.
Yeah.
Because I miss all you guys.
Through the years. Look at the picture. Like, oh my God. Like,
God, the last picture
changed so much.
You and me and Ellie took a picture together. It was just the 3 of us. Dylan might have been in one.
Yeah.
But
like,
it was
what year was that though? Because
that was like 2015 or something.
Yeah, that's what
that
I was
thinking. A long time ago.
Yeah, and I have like this one picture of me and Jason and Ellie like at the All-Star game where I'm wearing a Danny Heatley Ducks jersey. He was in fact a Duck, I believe, for 7 or 8
games.
Yes,
he was a Duck for a little, like literally a cup of coffee.
I don't even know if it was maybe a sip.
Maybe a sip. I know this is a little heavier, but you said sip, and that sounds similar to Sid. I'm literally just trying to fly these transitions as I go, whether they're good or not.
Okay. I'm going to lie to you and tell you that one was good.
Sid's going to miss the start of the season. He had wrist surgery and he's out at least 6 weeks.
That's not too bad. Do we play them in the first 6 weeks?
We play them preseason,
Oh,
which I don't know if we actually
it
play them in
doesn't matter.
yeah, I don't know if we legit play them like in the first
Anyway,
month and a half. We might, because I haven't looked at the schedule in a while.
I hope we do. Anytime you can play the Penguins and not have to play Sidney Crosby, it's at least a little bit easier.
Well, they don't have Gino either, which is crazy.
Yeah, Jake Gensel will still probably put up like 7 points against us, but
Their first line center is probably going to be like Rust.
he's
Like
another
legit-
really underrated player.
Probably going to be Rust, which, yeah, he's supremely underrated. Like
They have they're you have Crosby and Malkin, so just about everybody other player on the roster becomes underrated.
exactly.
Like, nobody talks about Russ. Nobody really talks about how good Gensel is, but like,
Nobody
you
talks
watch
about
him.
Dumo because he's paired with Letang.
Yeah,
It's like, can we talk about Brian Dumoulin more, please?
he's good. He's really good.
He's very good.
God, like, but no, Gensel's the one that's like the worst because it's like nobody talks about him, and I'm just like, you guys just don't. I'm just like sitting here, tears in my eyes. You don't understand.
Because it's like he's always on Crosby's left, and then it doesn't fucking matter who you throw on his right. You could literally throw a legitimate pylon onto his right wing. But man, just imagine him with like start Cappy up there.
I was gonna say Cap
Oh.
with Crosby and Gensel would be spicy.
Oh. God, Penguins, they're always so formidable, and it makes me sad.
Same. At least they lost Tanev and McCann. That helps a little bit.
Well, Tanev probably just saw a ghost in PPG.
He saw a ghost and he was like, "I going to Seattle."
Yeah.
They're like, "Okay, we'll sign Brock McGinn instead."
That's a tough blow for Carolina.
Yeah.
We got a little bit on Evander again, I think. I'm just looking through my notes again.
What do we have this time, Doc?
I gotta find it. Oh, it's just that the investigation stalled. And it's not, well, it's really not just that. So the issue is the league needs permission to talk to his soon-be ex-wife, you know, and if they don't get that, if they can't get details from her because, you know, she's the one that made these statements first, then this investigation is just not going to go anywhere. And this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
It's super tough.
Because this is one thing.
But that puts her in a very awkward spot, I think. And that's pretty, that's unfortunate for her.
It's very unfortunate. I mean, you can't force her to talk. But I think when she's ready to talk, she'll talk.
Yeah, you don't want to force her to do it.
Yeah, and
at the end of the day, like she's still she's got a kid with him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, the kid is very young.
Yeah, like it's a really tough position for her to be. Like, I really, really feel for her. I really do.
It's a
tough
for sure
situation. Like, and she's had a little bit of a rough time with it because obviously, like, she loves Evander. You know, trying to pour her whole life out with him, and then turns out that he's not really paying a ton of attention to the child, according to her.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that was one of the things that she said, like in one of her statements, I think on Instagram.
Oh.
And so that's been tough. And then the guy that you've loved for a while and had a kid with now has, at least we don't know if he's gambling on NHL games, but we know that he does have a gambling problem, which is it's a sickness. It's really unfortunate. It's hard.
And his debt is more than likely tied to this gambling.
100%. Like this poor woman can't catch a break.
No.
And I feel for her because obviously, like, the league wants to do investigating, but just because she's upset about everything that's going on doesn't mean that she's necessarily also going to want to talk about it.
Right.
It's really putting her like kind of in the center of it, and it's just she doesn't deserve that.
Let her take care of the kid, and when she wants
Yeah.
to talk, she'll talk.
Yeah.
Like, plus she's also going through this divorce procedure. Like, that's gotta.
It takes a toll on anybody, you know. It really sucks for her. I
Like-
feel terrible.
Okay, I haven't listened to this episode of the SDP, but like when they had CJ on, and CJ this was well after this was done, but like, they were joking around about Adam getting his divorce, right?
Yeah.
And obviously
That's hilarious, though.
they can do that.
They can do that. They can do that.
Yeah.
Because Adam's in on it. He thinks it's funny. Like he like making jokes in light of a bad situation kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm sure we'll eventually have that.
I hope I don't have doors.
No, not the divorce, but like the
No, I know what you meant.
yeah. Like you being a stats geek or an analytics geek.
Yeah. Just call me a nerd.
No, that's why I called you a geek, because that's worse.
Not if you're Morgan Geeky. Gotcha there, didn't I?
I think we made that joke already.
I'll make it again.
Oh, this is,
Should the
calling you a geek is going to, and then you firing back with geeky is going to be like our first recurring joke.
It's gonna be like the Goofy meme. I'll fucking do it again.
Oh yeah, I'll fucking do it again. I love it.
Dude, that video is so funny.
I just love the still image. We got all the best to God, I wish I knew her name, because it's like we can never give these names out.
Right.
All the best to Evander's soon-to-be ex-wife. Like, I don't want to say Evander Kane. I want to say her name. Like, it's
name
that
is
kind of
Anna.
thing, right? Anna?
Yeah.
Okay. All the best to Anna and the child. Like, seriously, because it's just a mess. And please, when you feel comfortable enough to talk, we as fans, I think, and as an organization and whatever, deserve to have closure with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, honestly. David Backus retired over the weekend.
Yeah, and he had an unbelievable career.
He was awesome. I got to see him, like, I just jumped into the NHL like when he was still with St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God.
I feel for him though, like he signed that big contract with the Bruins, and ultimately age caught up with him, especially since he's a very physical player. The thing that sucked most about it though was St. Louis finally raising the cup, and he wasn't a part of it.
Yeah, that would have been so much.
That would have been awesome.
Now, okay. The 1-day contract, of course, you gotta.
100%. You have to. No doubt about it.
But yeah, all the, I want to see him like what we talked about with Lundqvist. He's got to come back as like a skills coach or something.
I don't know. I feel like he's probably at this point more of a, if he does anything with hockey, maybe doing something television wise in St. Louis.
He'd be a cool
maybe
like
being an analyst or something like that.
It would be fun to see him do like what Grand Pierre does, like at least like a pre-game, post-game host kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be the route that he goes.
That'd be cool. All the best to David in whatever he chooses to do, because he was unreal.
I tell you, like, this is completely like off base, but something that happened to me the day that I found like absolutely hilarious.
Shoot.
So I've covered the Canisius hockey team for the last 3 years. I'm covering them again this year. And one of the new assistant coaches, he was kind of like a volunteer assistant last year, but then became a full-time assistant this year, is Dan Paye.
Oh.
And I went to interview our head coach today about naming
Interesting.
like the new captain of the team because we got the paper coming out, and he wasn't there. I told him like I'll be there at like 3:30, and he was like, sure, I might be running a few minutes late. That's fine. So I get there. I'm there at 3:30. It's just Dan Paye sitting there. And he gets up, he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Jay. I'm like, it's Jay. Like, nice to meet you. And he's like, hi, my name is Dan. And I'm just like, and I was like, nice to meet you, Dan. But in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I fucking know. You're Dan.
You're like, I know who you are.
Like, I know who you are. Like, I was being polite and everything. He's super nice. I had a good conversation with him.
Good and professional.
Like 10
yeah,
minutes.
of course.
Yeah, good and professional. Talking about Summers and stuff like that. But in my
You're
head,
not like
I'm just thinking,
fanboy.
I love.
Inside,
that
you're
this
like
guy-
fanboy. Like,
I'm just like, yeah, no, you played in the NHL for like a decade. You won a Stanley Cup, and here you
Right.
are feeling the need to be like, hi, I'm Dan.
yeah,
I'm just like, yeah, I'm aware.
I know who you are. I know, like, I felt that I've met some minor kind of, maybe not as minor as people think, celebrities in the past. I mean, I met Bjorky post game. He was cool as hell.
Yeah.
And then like similar to that story, I'll finish this thought and then I'll finish the other thought. I'm going everywhere.
Go ahead.
My cousin, her little boy, her like middle child, I've told you this off camera, his hockey coach for the I want to say they're the Cleveland Avengers. I don't know if they're like the Parma Avengers or whatever. I think it's Cleveland. His head coach is a former Jacket. I can't remember who it is because that text message history is long far
Right.
from when I found out. But yeah, it's really cool to have a former Jacket coaching my second cousin, right? In midgets.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. And then, like I said, I met Bjorky, and then like some of the minor-ish celebrities I met, like one of the biggest ones was I met Dennis Anderson at a pit party.
Oh, really?
Because we used to, my grandpa on my stepdad's side, we would go with him and meet up with a couple of buddies of his that were like huge Monster Jam fans. They would always get us pit party passes when it was at Eldora. And Eldora is beautiful. Like, if you've never been to Eldora, go for anything, but especially Monster Jam.
Yeah, so you know how like I play like online Survivor games for fun? There's this one girl who's on my tribe that like super cool that I've been talking with. Her name is Natalie, and we're just talking about football and stuff like that. She lives in Minnesota, huge Vikings fan. Her last name is Grant, and she like just casually brought up in conversation, like, yeah, like when my grandfather used to coach for them back in the day. I was like, wait a minute, back that up. Is your grandfather fucking Bud Grant? And she's like, yeah, you've heard of him? And I was like,
who hasn't
heard of him?
No, yeah, I met Dennis Anderson.
I have no clue where my other earbud went.
Oh, there it is.
Landed on my bed. But yeah, like I was just like, yeah, I've heard of Bud Grant. Went to 4 Super Bowls.
Right. But yeah, I've heard of him. I met Dennis Anderson, the creator and driver for decades of Gravedigger, the biggest monster truck fucking ever. And I think I met all his like sons and nephews too, because they were all driving at the same time. One of them was like driving Spider-Man that night. I think one drove Monster Mutt that night. It was awesome. I got a Gravedigger shirt like signed by like all the drivers that I met, including like the guy from Max D and El Toro, and all the like, just meeting all of those drivers blew my mind.
Right.
And then like I met when I was like 8, I met Josh Hamilton when he was on the Reds.
Damn.
And I thought he was Bronson Rowe because I didn't know what Bronson looked like. And Bronson was my guy.
Right. Yeah, 2 very similar players.
I know. I was 8. Give me a break.
Yeah, I'll give you a break. You were 8. That's pretty cool. Josh Hamilton had one of the saddest but wildest careers ever.
I met Josh and he took my visor and I got it signed by him and Ryan Friel.
That's pretty cool.
And then I remember like back in like 17, I was on Twitter and they were just like doing like the Reds social media was doing something just like, hey, tweet. Like this was my first weird big interaction with a sports team on Twitter. They were just like, send us a name and we'll tweet you like an autograph picture or something like that. And I said Shin-Soo Choo, and I got a Choo picture tweeted at me. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. That's super cool.
Like it was him like signing something too. So that was really fun. And then just to wrap up like weird kind of famous people, because we do have a few more notes in here. There's like 5 or 6. So we're gonna get there. Yeah, it's just train of thought, right? I remember I was in the hospital for like a week because I had big medical issues I don't want to get into.
Yeah, that's fine.
But my dad came in and he was like, hey, I'm working on talking to like public, like guest relations with the Dayton Dragons. And we're going to get you to do something really fun when we get you out of here. And we had really good seats to that game. I got to go down to the dugout, meet the entire 2010 team, and get autographs. I got a gift basket with like autographs from all the mascots too. And then my cousin and I got to go on the Jumbotron and introduce Bob Ziz to Replay.
Oh, geez.
It was a whole huge thing. It was awesome.
Right. That's pretty cool.
It was amazing. That was like one of the best nights of my like youth. It was crazy. We got a few signings, and then there's a little bit of signing news, and then one more little story, which is why I'm wearing this.
Sure.
So first off, Pierre Dorian signed an extension in Ottawa. Get the GM locked up. He's still done a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's got one of the toughest jobs in all of the National Hockey League, which is working for Eugene Melnyk.
Exactly.
And I think he's done pretty well under those circumstances, so it's well deserved.
Yeah, and it was what, 5 years?
I have no idea.
I think it was 5 years.
I'm just going to agree with you to make it seem like I'm caught up on news.
If I remember right, just trying to remember Twitter, I want to say it was through like 2026. So.
Okay.
Good on Pierre. Like, best of luck. He's doing fine.
Yeah. Good on him getting another contract from one of the cheapest donors. That's hard to do.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Ryan Donato's going to Seattle.
Yeah, 1 year. Was it 800,000?
League min 750.
Oh, gee, damn. All right. Well, I mean, still, he's a good bottom 6 guy.
Seattle adds more.
Yeah.
Yep. Bozak signed like this morning.
Where'd he sign?
Back in St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Back in St. Louis, same deal, 1 year, 750.
Okay.
It was funny. I saw a tweet from his wife saying, "Thank God I don't have to pack my shit."
It's probably one of the best feelings in the world.
I so bad wanted to tweet at her something like tagging Kami just because she said pack my shit.
Didn't his Twitter like get suspended though?
I don't know.
Because like he hasn't been on in a while. I don't know what happened to him, but
yeah, I wonder what happened to Commodore after the whole.
Still, his pack your shit is one of like the funniest things
pack
that
your
he
shits,
does.
Except for the.
I look forward to it.
Like the Babcock one was. Even okay.
That
even
one was
with,
personal.
Like even with what we know now about Mike Babcock, can't fucking do that.
Right.
Like, I mean, I guess it's cool. He's making money off a guy who psychologically abused him with the pack your shit Babs shirts and whatnot. Like
I don't know how I feel about it.
I
Like part of me
still
is like, okay, it's a little messed up. Part of me is
even
also like, it's kind of funny.
it's a nice like how dare you come up with kind of thing.
Yeah, kind
But
of.
it's still like even talking about it a year plus later is weird.
Right.
Like I just feel weird talking about it.
But still, the Packers ship bit for trade deadline.
Everybody
It's
else.
the best. It's
Yeah.
the best.
So we've talked a lot about Quinn Hughes and Elias Patterson and how those negotiations have gone and like, when things have come up and all of that. They're not close. Neither of them.
Jimmy Boy, Jim Benning. He's
Like-
killing it, man.
Aren't they represented by the same agent too?
That I have no clue.
I think they might-
I'm not that familiar with as like player
With
agents.
Players and agents other than Plagents.
Plagents.
We call them Plagents.
I like it. Plagents has a nice ring to it.
Plagent Alan Walsh.
I like Alan Walsh.
He was cool on the SDP.
Yeah.
That was cool to finally get like the full scope of the sword story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're represented by the same guy or people. And they're not close, but they hope to be at least
Such PR.
closer.
Yeah, that's such PR for
it's just
restricted
PR.
free agents. Yeah. We're not close right now, but we hope to be close. And it's like I sure hope you would be
Like
like,
please,
what?
yeah.
Like
Okay, so it says my notes say they hope to both be signed, so like done by camp, which you got 2 weeks.
yeah, no, I totally agree with that, man. Like I'll tell you right now, the Blue Jackets, I don't think are a Stanley Cup caliber team, but I hope they are in
Blue
2 weeks.
Jackets.
I'm just making a joke. Like we all hope things.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, we hope to have them signed by the end of the 2 weeks when the season's about to start.
Right.
Yeah, and I hope the Jackets are going to be good this year.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's nothing I can do about the Jackets. There is something you can do about
Yeah, they
Quinn
gotta
Hughes and
do it.
Elias Pettersson. So what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Don't tell me you hope. I don't give a crap if you hope. Get them
So-
signed.
Yeah. Do you think this turns out for either of them? Do you think this turns out more like Nylander or Marner?
One of them's going to be Marner. One of them's going to be Nylander.
You think? Who's who? Who holds out and who gets done like just before?
PD gets done before Hughes holds out.
Interesting. I do, yeah.
And I hope everybody knows that I am basing this off of nothing.
But
Just basing this off of vibes.
Listen, I can understand your argument though, because it's like Pettersson is the Jack Eichel, is the solar system around that rebuild.
Yes, like he's the guy. Like, sure, you got Besser, you got Horvat, you got Hughes. Like, they're all good, but like this is Pettersson's team.
PD is your guy, yes. So yeah, I think for sure you're in one way right. Like if Quinn holds out, he holds out. Let's just hope he doesn't miss like significant time holding out.
Well, I mean, God, like
If it happens.
you see how bad their defense is. The last thing, do you know how catastrophic that would be to the Canucks if he held out? Because your number one, your first pairing defenseman on the left would be Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
I mean,
And I'll tell you right now,
we've talked
are you
about
ready for
OEL
this?
plenty.
Are you ready for this? Analytics would tell you
Geek.
not good.
Oh my God, call the Geek Squad.
Hey, I like Geek Squad. Geek Squad helped me out when my phone cracked. They were very good to me.
They had fun commercials back in the day.
They really did. They still got like the Geek Squad cars. And like, no, I like it. I like them.
Yeah, back back in like 2005, like the last year I like really closely followed like American Idol, if that tells you anything. Like when Chris Daughtry came in fourth and ended up being the
Oh
biggest
my
name.
god. Yeah. Yeah. Last time I ever watched when it was David Cook and David Archuleta.
That was the next year. That was 06.
Yeah. Was it really 06? Damn.
David
God,
Cook
that
was
feels-
06.
That's crazy.
Or Daniel
how
Cook,
long that's
whichever.
been.
Yeah. So yeah. Jimmy, get it done. I'm going to personally send an email to the Canucks, or at least a tweet, and just harass their social media people to say, Jimmy, get it done. I'm not going to do that.
It's my favorite though, like when people
You
actually
would.
like serious, where people are actually like serious about it on Twitter, and like
Yeah.
people responded, they're just like, I'm just like the intern for social media.
Dude, have you
I
seen
make
what the
no
Devils
roster
have been doing
decisions.
the last couple of days?
Yeah, dude, the
Devil's
Devils are
social
hilarious.
guy has chosen violence, and I love
Yeah.
it.
I don't know if it's still there, but didn't the Blue Jackets like put in their bio, like does not make roster decisions?
They did that for a while.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still there, but it's hilarious.
That'd be great. So just to wrap, the reason why I'm wearing this, there was an interview that Elvis did.
Mhm.
I can't remember if it was over the weekend or like sometime in the week.
Very, very recent.
It was, yeah. And in that interview, I want to say it was with Portsy, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I quote, "I'm gonna win a fucking Vezina for Matisse."
Yeah, and the
Like
first
not
thing,
I want to, I'm going to.
yeah, the first thing that popped into my head when he said that was, I might need to put money on that. You know, because it's just like, let me tell you, man, this guy, when he is locked in, he's unbelievable. And
Yeah.
I have no doubt that he's going to be locked in all season for his brother Kivy.
Dude, it brings a tear to your eye. Like,
It does.
His mask is amazing.
It just has the makings of an incredible story, doesn't it? He's doing everything for this guy.
It's
Blue
almost like a
Jackets.
Shakespearean tragedy, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
you go through and there's just the lowest of lows, but then you go up, and it's just like, what a story. Maybe not a Shakespearean tragedy, because those are normally sad through and through, but like a Pixar tragedy, maybe that'd be better.
Right, but like when we see this in sports, like I've mentioned this several times, and I'll say it again. Like, if you look like throughout like history of and even just hockey, like you know, 2017, like the tragic Vegas shooting.
How many times have we brought this up?
You
Vegas,
know, like
Boston,
you know, Boston with the Bruins, they get to the final, but then also that same year the Red Sox won the World Series. Like,
yeah,
it has like the feel where it's incredibly tragic, incredibly sad, but Elvis is
it turns into a
gonna
rally.
do everything. Yeah. And isn't it always the teams that you expect the least? Did anybody think the Golden Knights were going to the Stanley Cup final their first year?
Right.
No. Did anybody think that Red Sox team, if you looked at that lineup for the Red Sox, that is a borderline playoff team. It's not a good lineup. And that team won a world. It's unbelievable. Like any chance you get, look at the 2013 Red Sox. It's unfathomable that they won a World Series.
They were still
but
playing
they rallied. They rallied around.
They were still like regularly playing Pierzynski at catcher then, weren't they?
I don't know if they were at that stage, but it's like it was like, sure, you had David Ortiz, but then it was just like Johnny Gomes, Salt Lamakia. Like,
I like Gomes.
Yeah, I liked it, but I mean, it's 2013. Like, he was older at that point. Like, Shane Victorino was also older at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Xander Bogaerts, but he was a rookie. You know.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like Mike Napoli at first base.
Okay, yeah. Now you're starting to, yeah.
Yeah, and their closer Koji O'Hara, like he was all right in his career, and then his like in the playoffs, I think he had like a .7 ERA. Like he was unhittable. It's crazy. John Lackey.
I want to get this hashtag started, and I don't know if anybody already has. El Vesna.
Oh,
I want that to be a thing.
I like that. It's catchy.
Like, I don't know if we can. I could probably DM Jordan or somebody about it, or Matt, or whoever that has like a larger following for us to try to help us get that started.
Just email Elvis.
To email Elvis.
Let him get it started.
Hell yeah, El Vesna, let's do it.
I love him. Like just talk about a guy who's just got an amazing spirit about him and an amazing attitude. Like, I really hope he does it. Not even just for the sake of us being Blue Jackets fans, because if this guy wins the Vezina, it means he has an unbelievable season, which means the Blue Jackets should probably make the playoffs. But just for him as a person, he deserves it.
He needs that kind of year for sure.
He does. He deserves it too. He really does.
I want to close by saying we have, because I got some DMs from SDPN Discord people. We got you, me, 1, 2. We got 2 other guys confirmed for the fantasy league.
Mm-hmm.
We might have my buddy Cody coming in because he's already in a bunch of other leagues. So he'll have to keep me posted on that. So technically we have 4 spots open. So DM us on Twitter or Discord or wherever.
All right. Sounds good to me.
And we will more than likely, because again, apologies for missing this Saturday. Jay.
Sorry. Busy guy.
We all are. It's life. But yeah.
Yeah, and life sucks.
Yeah. But yes, more than likely, we'll see y'all Saturday. And take care, Fifth Liners.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for Fifth Liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Garinger, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.